everybody to Crandon International Speedway, home to the fastest, most punishing short track racing on the planet. Thousands of fans have come here to witness high-octane, fender-bashing racing, complete with big air tabletops and speeds of 100 miles an hour. Basically, it's like Baja-style racing inside of a stadium. This is the Traxxas TORC Series. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Here, your host of the Red Bull Signature Series, and welcome to Crandon, Wisconsin, home of the TORC Series and the Crandon World Championships. We have two classes today, the Pro 2-wheel drive trucks and the Premier Pro 4x4 trucks. And if that's not enough for you, the Crandon Cup features a 10-lap battle of both these two classes going head-to-head. We got off-road racers coming from all over North America to compete here. Legends like Ricky Johnson and Bryce Menzies, as well as rookies that include snowboard Olympians and X Games gold medalists, all chasing down the largest single purse in off-road racing. We're ready to get started with our first race of the day. It's the Pro 2-wheel drive class. Let's go racing.
Absolutely, Sal. Thanks very much. Hi, folks. Lee Diffie, along with a man who's done the Baja 1000 and Core races, NASCAR veteran Wally Dallenbach. Wally, this is going to be great.
I love the land rush start, and here we go. They dropped the hammer, 15 wide, and they're all going for one spot.
Scotty Taylor in the 8 with a good start. Bryce Menzies already ripping a tear off, and Jeff Kincaid in the 4 gets the whole shot.
Yes, Kincaid got a great start. Chad Hort, you got Scott Taylor right there, Robby Gordon. These guys are all digging for position right now. Kincaid, what a great hole shot. Chad Hort not letting him go. This is going to get interesting, Lee.
The Traxxas truck, number 4, that is Jeff Kincaid. And he's got a good margin already over the Nissan of Chad Hort, Scotty Taylor, then Bryce Menzies, and keep your eye out for that fluorescent yellow truck. That is Robby Gordon.
That's a great shot right there. Track is in great condition right now. As more of these guys run, you'll see this thing slicking up. So there's a lot of different lines right now, and these guys are taking advantage of that.
This is the first of 2 classes that you're going to see in today's show, part of the Red Bull Signature Series. This is the Pro 2-wheel class, and these guys go just as hard as the Pro 4x4. Really impressed already at the lead that Kincaid's got.
Kincaid's got a nice lead right now, and here comes Bryce Menzies. He's taking a look. Little contact there, but that's expected in this type of racing.
Notice what the track looks like now. The condition, how loose it is, where there's moisture, and just how dramatically this track changes over the course of this weekend at Crandon International.
No changes up front right now. Jeff Kincaid's got a nice lead right now. He's got a little bit of a cushion. Oh, somebody gets a little bit sideways back there. Chad Hort still holding down a second spot.
This is a massive lead that Jeff Kincaid has established. Chad Hort, it's been a year of what could have been. He's a little unsatisfied, and is looking at Crandon, a track where he's enjoyed success before, to turn around his 2012 campaign. Time now to take a look at this unbelievable track they call the Big House, Wally.
I tell you what, this is a Super Bowl for these guys. This racetrack, what I've really noticed about this place, Lee, is how fast it is. These guys are getting speeds up over 100 miles per hour. And the one thing about it, half the time, they're sliding at 100 miles per hour. You see coming over these jumps here, there's a lot of times where they're coming over these jumps and turning and sideways. There's not a whole lot of opportunities where they stay straight. Hard left-hander, back up underneath the Traxxas sign there. A couple of jumps here that you're going to see 100 feet. Another hard right-hander. You see a lot of contact getting through this part of the racetrack, through the whip. This is a tight section of the racetrack right here. And you see these guys are going to be flying here, but also you're going to see a lot of contact. It's difficult to pass. Now, we're getting up to a spot where you're going to see a lot of speed here. This is where these guys really open up the trucks. There's a couple of jumps through here into a hard left-hander that shoots you back towards the start-finish line. A couple of more jumps. Again, this corner right here, carrying a lot of speed through here. I'm jealous, Lee. I want to run on this place. This looks like a driver's racetrack. This place looks like a blast.
The Traxxas TORC series goes to some fabulous venues throughout the year, but when you talk about Crandon International Raceway, this is the one that gets the driver's attention, and everybody not only wants to race here, they want to win here. There have been some substantial changes made to the Crandon International in preparation for this weekend, and it's now time to check in with our pit reporter, Kelly Snyder, to tell us more.
Thanks, guys. Crandon International Off-Road Raceway is known as the most iconic short course off-road course in the history of this sort of racing. Coming into today, these drivers are going to race on a course they've never raced on before. They took out the jump right in front of the barn and put it under the Red Bull sign. They've added 2 jumps, one in front of the skybox and one in front of the chicane. They've taken out the pond and that white picket fence that surrounded it, and also added that tabletop in the back. But what they didn't touch, and what they will never touch, is that legendary Crandon Land Rush start.
We've already seen and enjoyed that. Kelly, thank you very much. We get back to it on board with the Red Bull man, Bryce Menzies, who's making up ground. Look at CJ Greaves mixing it up with Robby Gordon. The 17-year-old is at it.
That's for this spot right there, and you got your hands full no matter who or where you're racing Robby Gordon.
There is a lot of excitement surrounding that Speed Energy truck, Robby Gordon, coming into the TORC series for this weekend. He doesn't do the entire series, but a legend like Robby Gordon racing youngsters like CJ Greaves, and then you've got Bryce Menzies. These guys are excited about having Robby in the field. Taylor in that blue truck, still chasing Chad Horde. However, it's still the Traxxas truck of Jeff KINCAID leading the way.
Yeah, Jeff's done a really nice job right now. He's had all clear sailing in front of him. Now, don't forget, we have the mandatory caution coming up, so these guys are just trying to get themselves in position, because that second half, that's when the fangs come out.
Oh, CJ Greaves off to the edge. That's going to give Robby Gordon a chance.
That's all Robby Gordon was looking for. And Robby Gordon's a master of trying to push a guy into a mistake, and he's taken the spot away.
This has been an unbelievable year for CJ Greaves. He came into the season with a win in Charlotte at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This was a preparation year, if you want to describe it as that. His father, the famous Johnny Greaves, said this is just, we'll see how it goes in 2012. However, this young man, Wally, has proven himself to be very, very handy in Pro 2.
I'd like to see Johnny try to get CJ out of that truck for some reason. That ain't going to happen.
Gordon runs a little wide. CJ has the inside line.
Yeah, but Robby Gordon's on that outside. He's got where that on the outside. There's a lot of bite right there. You really got to be good if you're going to make a pass trying to get on the inside of that corner.
You've missed nothing up front. It's still Jeff KINCAID who leads the way over the Nissan man, Chad Horde. There goes Chad. Scotty Taylor is coming under increasing pressure from Bryce Menzies in the Red Bull Ram. You're watching TORC, presented by Traxxas, a part of the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back to Crandon International. Lee Diffie, Wally Dallin back with you at the Traxxas TORC series on this mega weekend, part of the Red Bull Signature Series, and you're looking at Jeff KINCAID, who obviously has the fastest lap of this race so far, Wally, with a handy lead.
Yes, he has a great lead. You got Chad Horde right there. Got Taylor. I tell you, Bryce Menzies has been really fast, but again, I think these guys are just kind of biding their time right now until we see that caution. There's an onboard shot of Bryce Menzies.
Keep in mind, championship points are close at the moment between Bryce Menzies and Rob McCachran, the legend, and the young charger, the reigning Pro 2 champion in the Traxxas TORC Series. Bryce wants to win at Crandon this weekend. There's Scotty Taylor, the guy who's standing in his way.
Oh.
But for how much longer? Taylor slows.
Taylor's got some problems, obviously. Slowed way down. Not sure what. I don't see anything falling off the truck or anything, but he obviously had a problem.
Taylor's still running, but at a much slower rate. And don't want to read anything into this too early, Wally, but on Friday afternoon, he had a driveline problem on Friday. Wonder if this is repeating.
It could be. He's pulled off, and that's very disappointing. He had a good run going.
For the man who's been racing and winning for nearly 4 decades, this one is over for Scotty Taylor. Meanwhile, back at the front, Jeff Kincaid is unstoppable.
That slides Bryce Menzies now into the 3rd spot.
And for Chad Horde, he's staying in touch with our race leader. And as Wally mentioned a little earlier, that mandatory caution at the halfway mark of this race is not too far away. That'll allow Chad Horde and his Nissan, the Boss snowplow machine, to get closer and have a second shot at that restart. Time now to check in with Sal, who tells us more about this fascinating sport.
Before short course racing came along, off-road was a lonely sport. Drivers seldom saw their competitors. Spectators waited a long time for a truck to come by. The creation of short course off-road racing allowed fans to become a part of the action. Spectators now had a front row seat to watch their favorite drivers bang around the corners, fight for their spot on the podium. Over 40 years ago, Crandon, Wisconsin hosted their first short course off-road race, being one of the first venues to bring off-road races to the masses.
It started with a group of guys sitting around, figured, you know, it would be great to have a off-road race here, seeing out west they got them, and these group of guys come up with they call it the Baja of the Northwoods. Speeds are well over 100 miles an hour here, and they're coming off the jumps 150 feet. It's been known as the Daytona of off-road racing. It's fast, but yet it's safe, and Walker Evans said it the best. If you can win into Crandon, all the rest are easy.
At the Big House, it's all of the excitement of 500 miles of desert racing condensed into 20 minutes.
I'll tell you what, you know, we have the Colorado 500, Lee, and back in the day, Parnelli Jones, Walker Evans, Mears, all those guys used to talk about was off-road racing. Now that I got to enjoy a little bit of it hooks you.
It's addictive, very addictive. And look at this man here, Jeff Kincaid, had a win earlier in the year here at Crandon International, wants to repeat that. He's had a couple of podiums as well, but would like to end the 2012 season with some more victories. It's the same mission for Chad Horde as well. The guys at Roush Yates have done a good job with that Boss snowplow machine, but he wants more.
It looks like he's getting more. Obviously, he is making a lot of ground up on the leader right there.
Where is Bryce Menzies in that Menzies Motorsports Red Bull Ram? He's starting to gain ground on this man. Let's ride with Chad Horde. It is busy in there.
It's very busy in there. You can see what a beating these trucks are taking around this place. And you're constantly doing something here, Lee. You're sliding, you're jumping. There's not a whole lot of opportunities where you're just going straight and getting a rest.
It's just fascinating to watch these guys in the cockpit. That lead margin has been reduced. Pressure is now coming on Jeff Kincaid, and here comes Bryce Menzies. Robby Gordon's got some clear space now. So the next one on his list is that man there with the #1 Red Bull truck, Bryce Menzies.
Bryce's truck looks awfully hooked up. He's actually making some gains on those front 2 trucks.
2 objectives this weekend for the Red Bull man is to consolidate his lead in the Pro 2 class and to try and win that $40,000 AMSOIL Cup. That's coming up a little later in this program, part of the Red Bull Signature Series. And the good news for Bryce, while he's been working so hard here, that mandatory halfway caution is not too far away.
Yeah, and that just resets everything up, but it's go time after that. But all these top 4 trucks look pretty even right now, and they're not going to push the issue at this point. They're going to wait. See Robby Gordon flying in the back there. He holds down the 4th spot.
And he is going to be the big winner. CJ Greaves, those guys who are trailing this top 3. There we go. Time to take a breath. halfway caution. Let's regroup, let's refocus, and let's go again. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
You can now create an epic 2-screen experience when the Shazam button appears on your screen. Use the Shazam app on your smartphone to go on board with the drivers during the race. Get additional driver videos and use Shazam anytime during the show.
Welcome back to Crandon International. Lee Diffie, Wally Dallin back with you at the Traxxas TORC Series. In Pro 2, it's a battle of two. Rob McCachran and the Red Bull Ram driver, Bryce Menzies. This could be a pivotal weekend in this championship.
Coming into Fall Crandon, usually you hope to have a points lead and have a little bit of a gap. You know, we've had some unfortunate circumstances happen, you know, on and off throughout the whole season, and now the points battle's tight. Bryce Menzies and I are both just trying to beat each other. So it's going to be a tough battle for us, and you know, we're just going to go give it all we got. And we want to make the podium, want to win races throughout the rest of the year and try to get the championship.
This year coming into Pro 2, points battle has been so tight all year. I've been in 4th to 1st to 2nd, and you know, we got CJ Greaves and Chad Horde who are in 3rd and 4th right behind me and Rob Mack, and it's just so tight that it makes it for good racing, and at any point, any 4 of us could win the race. So everybody's pushing and trying to find that little extra edge to push a little bit farther than the other competition, but at any time, you know, these guys are coming, they're fighting, you never can give up. You know, it's coming down to the end of the season where the battle's going to go back and forth, and that's what everybody wants, you know. Me and Rob Mack, we're both fighting really hard to win this championship.
We'll see how it shakes out between those top 2 contenders. Wally, here we go for the restart, the reset. What's your mindset?
This is where things come out. So this is when you got to get aggressive and go.
Jeff Kincaid, Chad Horde, Bryce Menzies, Robby Gordon, that's the top 4, simple as that. CJ Greaves in 5th. Gordon dives to the inside. You're looking at Bryce Menzies, who gives Horde a tap.
Well, looks like Kincaid just slides on the outside. He's going to lose 2 or 3 spots right here.
Chad Horde is your new race leader, but for how much longer? Bryce Menzies right through the middle.
What a nice move. Menzies pulled off a great pass right there, but he's got Hort right on his tail, and Robby Gordon is right there. You can throw a blanket over those 3.
Gordon takes the inside line, and Horde goes from 1st to 3rd in a couple of corners. Bryce Menzies leads the way. Horde comes back on Robby Gordon. New top 2.
And the guy that just dominated the first part of this race is falling back to 5th.
And that is him. That's Jeff Kincaid. He was off track. And now Kincaid comes back.
Oh, wow, what a tough break. He was so good that first part of the race, but boy, that's what happens. His caution shakes things up, and it sure has shaken things up front.
Spare a thought for Jeff Kincaid. Meanwhile, Rob McCachran is starting to force his way through the pack. Rob Mack is up to 4th.
Great shots right here.
This is where they're in excess of 100 miles an hour, 105 miles an hour on approach to the gravel turn. Menzies, Gordon, Horde, Rob McCachran. That's what you call standing on it.
Boy, that sounds sweet. Robby Gordon is going to do everything he possibly can to try to get that spot. But I'll tell you, like I said, just watching Bryce's truck in the first part of this race, he has been flawless. No mistakes, and he has been hooked up.
Well, it fits with that feature that we just showed you about the top 2, Bryce Menzies and Rob McCachran. One is in 1st, one is in 4th. There's a lot of points on the line here with just one more race weekend remaining. Look at Rob Mack now, putting the pressure on Chad Horde. Rob Mack goes around the outside.
Yes, he's got a pretty good bite coming off that corner. Can he hold it? He does. He takes the spot away.
And of course, not only this race, not only the Pro 4x4, but in the backs of our minds and all of the fans, we're thinking about that Crandon Cup, and you're looking at a man there, Rob McCachran, who has won that. The guy he's just overtaken, Chad Horde, has won it overall in a Pro 2 truck. So 2 very accomplished racers at this track. Now Rob Mack's got Robby Gordon in his sights.
Yeah, Robby Gordon, he landed back there not exactly the way he wanted. I don't know how he didn't roll that truck, but he gathered it up and no harm, no foul.
Did you see McCachran? On the exit of that previous corner, he was up one bank on that camera shot change. He was on the other side.
They're racing a little bit different now.
They've taken a breath, and they're ready to go all the way to the checkered flag, but they've got to catch this 25-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada. Bryce Menzies in the Red Bull Ram leads the way, but Gordon is coming.
Rob Mack right there as well. He's pulling up on the backside of that 7 truck of Robby Gordon. Does he have enough?
Big off-season ahead for Robby Gordon, preparing for his own Stadium Super Truck Series, and then, of course, the Dakar Rally in early January. So a huge off-road season ahead for Robby Gordon. But meanwhile, his focus is on the rearview mirror because he sees McCachran coming. Look at Rob working that inside line.
Just not enough grip down there to pull off enough to just even get even with Robby. But Robby just gets through that part of the track. I mean, left, right.
This has been fantastic. It is, of course, part of the Red Bull Signature Series, and Sal tells us more because this is the final installment of 2012.
The Traxxas TORC Series is short track Baja off-road racing in a stadium setting. But you know, this is only one event in the Red Bull Signature Series. This season, we brought you the biggest events featuring superstars from all action sports. Snow to the dirt, oceans to the mountains. We featured high speeds, people doing massive airs, and of course, the progression of each and every one of these unique sports. So, how about we take a look back at 2012 and a television series unlike anything you've seen before.
What are the limits of humankind? What boundaries have yet to be broken? What lies beyond the world of mainstream sports? The Red Bull Signature Series seeks to answer these questions. We traveled across the globe for the Crash Dice World Championship, and for the first time, a Canadian ended up on top.
The war is gonna go to Crandon.
We hellied into the backcountry of British Columbia to witness the evolution of snowboard competitions.
The idea was to switch the paradigm. Nothing like this has really been done before.
And the world of free skiing was pushed to the limits with Red Bull Cold Rush, the Dumont Cup, and the Rolf's Bonsai Tour.
I want to find something that I've never done before. Somebody look at it and just go, damn, that can be done.
In 2013, the Red Bull Signature Series takes flight over snow, water, dirt. The elements of nature harnessed for man's passions. Combining the best of backcountry snowboarding, free-ride mountain biking, big wave surfing, and more. The Red Bull Signature Series is the evolution of sports. 15 of the most progressive and innovative competitions unified into one epic series. Prepare to believe in the unbelievable as these athletes attempt to make the impossible possible.
Proof is in the pudding. Something like this, it's not only possible, but it's incredible.
Watch it all year long on NBC. Go to RedBullSignatureSeries.com for complete schedule details.
The Red Bull Signature Series continues here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway, and it's Bryce Menzies in the Red Bull Ram who leads the way, but he has got company, Wally, and it's coming quickly.
Yeah, that bright truck behind is Robby Gordon. Rob Mack right behind him.
That's a wounded Jeff KINCAID. What a shame.
Yeah, these guys are about to lap him. And here they come.
Considering what happened at the beginning of this race, this should have been Jeff KINCAID's race. He was awesome early on. Meanwhile, McCachran, third. It's that Mopar Ram truck that is chasing down Robby Gordon. for second spot. Top three, these guys are in a league of their own at the moment. They've dropped Chad Horde off. He can't do anything about these top three runners.
Yeah, these guys are running really, really hard. You can tell they're just closing laps of this race. These drivers are giving it everything they can, and Bryce Menzies doing a heck of a job right now. He's got two of the best behind him, but he's just running his own line, and he's staying out front.
Take you inside the helmet of Bryce Menzies. As a young kid growing up, he idolized these two guys who were chasing him, Rob McCachran and Robby Gordon. For him not only to be in the same race, but to be leading them is huge.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is huge. I mean, when you grew up around these guys, you watch them race, and now you're out here having fun with them. I'll tell you what, he's on the top of the world right now.
Controlling nearly 900 horsepower in these purpose-built trucks. And Bryce Menzies is dominating at the most spectacular track on the circuit.
Oh, Robbie drove that thing in there that lap. Wow.
Over 100 miles per hour on entry into that corner. We ride with McCachran. Has he got anything for Gordon? Has Gordon got anything for Menzies? We're running out of time. Checkered flag not too far away. Gordon looks for the inside. Is he close enough to Menzies? And what's McCachran got left?
McCachran taking a look at Robby Gordon. Not enough.
This is the fight for second. Has Robby gone wide? Has McCachran who two-wheels it?
Nice job saving that truck and not taking out Robby Gordon.
Did Gordon even see that coming? He was bicycling. He was on two wheels, McCachran, and managed to save it.
Save it? I don't think he lost a half a truck light. He's right there.
Checkered flag and Bryce Menzies in the Red Bull round takes it. That is a photo finish for second. Who got it, McCachran or Gordon? That was close. And that is Bryce Menzies' fourth win of the Traxxas TORC Series this year. Let's have a look at that photo finish.
See if we can take a look. It doesn't get any closer than this. I'm going to give it to Robby Gordon.
Timing
not by much.
Timing and scoring confirms that, Wally. Robby Gordon in the 7 speed truck got it over Rob McCachran. There's your top three. How about that? Bryce Menzies wins. Let's identify today's Casio Gs1 Commando Stomp moment of the day. And Wally, it's going to take us to that halfway restart. It is indeed Bryce Menzies. Tell us how he got it.
Yeah, it's all about the restart. Watch him right here in the Red Bull truck. Chad Horde on the outside. Robby dives on the inside, but he gets the bite, and he takes off, and he has the lead, and he never looked back.
And that's your Casio Gs1 Commando Stomped moment of the day. And Bryce Menzies stomped his way all the way to the checkered flag, not only winning the Commando Stomp moment of the day, but the race. If we check the final standings, Menzies, Gordon, McCachran, what a podium. Chad Horde for 4th and CJ Greaves in 5th. Time to hear from our winner. Here's Kelly Snyder.
Well, thanks, guys. For you, Bryce Menzies, it was all about the restart. Coming into, you were seated a very solid 3rd place. This track's really hard to pass on. Did you know that was the chance that you needed to make those passes on the pack?
Yeah, definitely. You know, coming to Crandon, it's really fast and it's really hard to pass people here. We qualified fast. We had to start 6th. Didn't have that good of a jump off the start, and just bringing it in. Finally, you know, we got 3rd on the restart, and once I got the start, I jumped him down that turn and just made a move on Horde, and finally got out front. I knew Rob and Robby were coming behind me, so I knew I just had to push as hard as I could, and my team did an awesome job of getting the truck ready, and just got to thank all my sponsors, you know, Red Bull, Ram. The motor was unbelievable and everything. The BFG tires, nothing's even wrong with them. I drove the crap out of this thing, so thanks to all my sponsors, everybody getting me up here.
Well, it's one thing to win in a Pro 2 race, but another thing to win at Crandon. World Championship ring you're going to get today. How excited are you about that?
Oh, it's so awesome. Coming to Crandon is like the Daytona 500 off-road. This track is unbelievable. We're reaching speeds of 105 miles an hour, and to get that World Championship ring here is unbelievable, and I just couldn't be more happy.
Well, congratulations to Bryce Menzies, our Pro 2 champ from 2011, taking home the win here today. Guys.
Thanks, Kelly. Yes, congratulations to Bryce. And when you do win a race on this weekend at Crandon International, it is considered a world championship in off-road short course racing. That was Pro 2. This is Pro 4x4 coming up next with the likes of 47, Mike Jenkins and his competitors like Johnny Greaves, a former winner here at Crandon. This is going to be interesting. The big boys are coming up, and trucks like this one, the fluoro orange one of Adrian Cheney, He is a contender, the wild man. What's the difference between Pro 2 and Pro 4? Let's find out. Here's Sal.
Sitting on the grid or flying through the air, a Pro 2 truck and a Pro 4 truck look nearly identical. Outwardly, they are. Under the skin, though, the two have some key differences.
You know, a Pro 2 is almost like figure skating or a ballet or something. Everything's got to be perfect. You know, you get in a Pro 4, it starts out kind of ballet and turns into a UFC fight.
Both have V8 engines pushing out close to 900 horsepower and 1.5 feet of suspension travel. The Pro 4 truck, however, puts that power to the ground through all 4 wheels, while Pro 2 must make do with only the rears.
The Pro 2s with 900 horsepower gives us so much torque and so much power. One of the problems you have is just twisting the drive shaft, because when you land, there's so much traction, it digs, and it just wants to twist that drive shaft.
The extra hardware required, transfer cases, front differentials, and axles, translate to some challenges in packaging. While the Pro 4s have a bit more freedom in the design of their two-frame chassis, getting all that equipment in and working together sometimes requires a unique approach. Driving does as well. Moving 4,000 pounds with 2 tires on the dirt takes place a little slower and demands a bit of planning. With the 4-wheel drive, the truck reacts right now.
I think Pro 2 might be faster, flat out down a straightaway, but when it comes to getting in and out of corners, in a Pro 4, if you follow a guy in and he's out in the cushion, you just square it off and you can beat him out of the corner down the inside. In a Pro 2, the minute you try to change a line, you usually lose a little time, or the next guy will be underneath you because you tried something different and he took the line that you should have been in.
Bryce Menzies drives our Pro 2. He's got to have a really good game plan. He's got to be really smooth through the corners, really easy on the gas coming off. You can spin out a Pro 2 at any time. Rick Johnson drives our Pro 4. He goes in, you can literally back the truck in the corner backwards, and you can accelerate and it'll take right off.
We're just getting going here at Crandon International. Bryce Menzies has won the Pro 2 race. Coming up next, though, the big boys, Pro 4x4. We're going to see the likes of reigning champion Ricky Johnson in his Red Bull Ram. This is the Red Bull Signature Series. There's nothing different about this. A huge crowd is always on hand in Crandon, Wisconsin at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. And this is just one of the reasons. They come to see guys like this man here, Johnny Greaves. There's Kurt Leduc. And RJ, Ricky Johnson. This is Pro 4x4. Land rush start, let's go!
Gotta love those starts.
This is what, look at Ricky Johnson. Whoa. Got sideways.
Yes, a lot of contact right there. That's gonna cost him a little bit.
I wonder if he got sideways by himself or he was tagged. It's the wild man out in front, Wally.
Yeah, Channy get the whole shot, but Johnny Greaves is right there on the inside. Just like that, takes the spot.
The Toyota man is out in front, and Ricky Johnson, his arch rival, is playing catch-up. Channy in second. This is a great start from Johnny Greaves in his home state. His teenage son has just had a terrific run in the Pro 2 race. Can Johnny go all the way?
There's no race that's more important than Johnny Greaves, and right here. He loves this racetrack, and he loves winning.
On board with Johnny Greaves. And the 22 is flying early on. But you look back in the pack, just how far back is Ricky Johnson? How much catching up does he have to do? There's the Red Bull Ram.
He's got his work cut out for him. There's no doubt about that. But he's already made up a couple of positions.
And this is where that halfway mandatory yellow comes into play. Sometimes it may hurt you, sometimes it may help you. This time round, it's going to help Ricky Johnson.
Yeah, that's a great point, Lee. You can have that little bit of a hiccup on the first part of this race, and then that caution's going to close everybody up. So that really is going to save him. Wow, look at the lead Johnny he's got already. He is going.
And this Toyota sounds like no other truck. Listen to that scream. Johnny doing a super job. Adrian Cheney maintains second. How massive it would be here for Cheney to win at Crandon. And the chase is on for Ricky Johnson. He's got Leduc in his sights. And when Ricky has a target, he goes after it like no other driver.
Boom, just like that, takes the spot, round the high side. You watch Ricky, he's been doing a lot. He uses like the cushion. He gets way out there where the dirt is really heavy, and he seems like he's got a lot of bite out there.
You're talking about a 7-time AMA motorcycle champion. He is in the Motorsports Hall of Fame, and he was introduced earlier this year by his old friend, 5-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Jimmy Johnson. What a year it's been for RJ, and he's trying to defend his TORC Pro 4x4 title. And this round at Crandon International is going to be an important one. Not only this race, but the next one coming up, and that is the Crandon Cup. And he's chasing this man here, who he has a fierce rivalry with, Johnny Greaves. Let's take a closer look at what everybody talks about.
I guess you got a pretty hell of a rivalry between me and Johnny right now. I'm ready to get it on, you know what I mean? Let's do this.
You know, I race Ricky a lot, and he's a gentleman, and the gentleman went away once I started showing him inside. I knew that one time he swapped off the jump, I'm like, all right, he's not willing to let up, and then I finally pass him, and I feel the thing land on my back and flip over the top of me or drive over the top. I'm like, are you kidding me? And we're still going. Man, if the fans didn't get their money's worth that time, I don't know where else you're gonna get it, because you ain't find that in stock car racing.
Hey, no. Hey, little boy, if you're big enough before you breathe, then take a shot.
Uh-oh, there's a fight.
Yeah.
I think Ricky's a good character. He is a character. There's no doubt about that.
Woo! There you go. I wasn't aiming for you, bro. I went straight off the jump.
What's the deal with my kid?
No, let me out.
Don't go after him.
I didn't go after him. I said you need to think about what you're doing before you do it. I'm not gonna hit your kid, bro.
Johnny's a champion. I want to kick his I like the guy as a person. I have a world of respect for him. But for me to show my worth as a driver, he's the guy I got to beat. I came off the jump, gave him the whole inside lane. He overjumped the jump and went straight into me, and it broke my track guard. I mean, I landed completely sideways, and lucky I didn't break it and flip.
You never know what to expect from him. Depends what kind of mood he's in.
I race my heart out. People don't like it. We're racing hard, that's all I know.
You know, when you're a spoon-fed rich boy, I guess anything comes out of you. It never worked for nothing in his life, so he wouldn't know what it's like to have to fix shit. Well, I don't think RJ intentionally does anything. Just ask him.
I hit him, he hit me, I hit him.
He just does what he has to do and run him as clean as he runs me.
I think the battle between Johnny and Rick is awesome. I think everybody else needs to stay the hell out of the way and let the guys do their thing. If that's between two men, let them settle it.
And I think you would agree with me, Lee. Every racing series needs a great rivalry like that one.
And it's not just every racing series, Wally. I agree with you. It's any sport is built on great rivalries. The Red Sox and the Yankees, you could go through it. Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and long after Johnny Greaves and Ricky Johnson stop racing in off-road racing, they'll be talking about that rivalry.
I don't know what you're talking about those other sports, because auto racing's all I watch.
How about this man here, Adrian Cheney? The Wild Man's had 5 podiums this year already, and he is out after his 6th, but there's a lot of work left to do here at Crandon International. We're not quite yet at the halfway mark, and that mandatory caution coming up. Cheney runs a little wide.
And you can see where the track is getting slick right there, Lee. You know, these guys are running, and then they're blowing all that dirt off, and now there's kind of what you call a groove. And a lot of times you get in there and you try to make the turn, and there's just no grip. You just slide. That's why they'll start working a little bit higher and higher in these corners to look for some of that bite.
Remember, 900 horsepower being put to 4 wheels. This is the Pro 4x4. The 4-wheel drive trucks. And that's one of the big advantages they have over the Pro 2s when we get to our next event, the Crandon Cup. That's coming up a little later. We're going to finish business here with the Pro 4, and Johnny Greaves is your man who is leading the way. More Red Bull Signature Series coming up.
You can now create an epic 2-screen experience when the Shazam button appears on your screen. Use the Shazam app on your smartphone to go on board with the drivers during the race. Get additional driver videos and use Shazam anytime during the show.
Welcome back to Crandon. Lee Diffie, Wally Dullen back with you. You're watching the Traxxas TORC Series, which of course is a part of the Red Bull Signature Series. And that is the Toyota truck of Johnny Greaves, Wisconsin native, leading in front of so many friends, family, and fans of what this man can do. And he's doing an awesome job. So too's Mike Jenkins in the Traxxas truck, working hard. Mark Jenkins, his brother here in the 25, is up in the top 5. And a podium would go down beautifully for the Traxxas man here.
Ricky Johnson and the Red Bull truck. Oh, he's caught Scott Douglas in that 7 truck. Tell you what, Ricky is going well right now. On the inside, nope, not enough right there. Gets real narrow right there. It's very difficult to make a pass.
One of the beautiful things about Pro 4x4 racing in the Traxxas TORC Series is you watch the different lines, how they go high, they go low. They work their competitors. It's not single line racing.
Exactly. I mean, Ricky's just setting them up. He's trying to find out where his weak spot is. And as soon as Scott, if he slips up, Ricky Johnson will be there.
That's the view from the 22. And look at how much ground Johnny Greaves has over Adrian Cheney. This is a commanding lead. But we're working our way gradually towards that halfway mark and that mandatory caution.
Oh,
it's going to help
Ricky
the Red Bull Ram.
Yeah, on the outside. Looks like he got a pretty good run off that corner, and he will take the spot from Mr. Douglas.
And you're talking about there a man who has won the Crandon Cup a couple of times in Scott Douglas. So Ricky Johnson is not passing easy beats. These are credentialed championship winning races. And it's been a tough slog so far for Ricky Johnson. Tough slog this weekend, considering yesterday he had a blown motor.
But this is when you're putting the tires to the test. This is when you hope you've made the right choice on tires, because boy, this track's getting ugly.
And it eats him up, doesn't it? There's been a lot of focus on this man here in the Red Bull Ram, Ricky Johnson. How was he going to play this one? How has he been forced to play it, starting from the back? Let's check in with Kelly to tell us more.
Hey guys, I caught up with Ricky Johnson right before this Pro 4 race, and he told me his strategy coming into today is all about his crew building him a truck that goes 100% all the time. It's also about getting a good track position starting off. He wants to stay away from the chaos behind him and get the dust out of his face. So it's about starting up front and building a truck that'll last him the entire race.
And Wally, keep in mind too the extra strain that's been put on his team after that blown motor, staying up all night to get the truck ready for Ricky.
Yeah, these guys live for that though. If they can do that and pull off a win, man, that's big.
Saw Ricky earlier grabbing for some tear-offs. He's been forced to do that more than normal. He likes being out in front and dictating the terms, but we've watched a really solid display from RJ as he's worked his way through the pack, and he's now up into the top 5. 4th place at the moment, chasing out after Mark Jenkins in that 25 Traxxas truck.
And he doesn't have to chase too hard, really. Don't forget, we've got this caution coming up. That's going to just completely erase that gap between him and the leader, Johnny Greaves. So the restart should be good.
And that's just seconds away. So Johnny can take a breath. He can rest and relax a little here, and he's got to regroup. Considering the wild man Cheney got the whole shot, Johnny Greaves put an inside move on him on that opening lap. There is the yellow and red signifying that mandatory halfway caution. But it's been all Johnny Greaves from there on out. Johnson tags onto the back of Jenkins, and they all regroup. So it's Johnny Greaves, Adrian Cheney, Mark Jenkins, Ricky Johnson, and Scott Douglas, your top 5 at this halfway point of the Traxxas TORC Series and the Pro 4x4 event. So let's look forward to the second half of this one. That's coming up right after this commercial break. But before we get to the break, let's take a look at the Crashed Ice Series. It is, of course, a part of the Red Bull Signature Series.
St. Paul, Minnesota. The Crashed Ice World Tour makes its debut on American soil. Or should I say ice? Passion in his eyes and fire in his belly Returning champion Arttu Palainen of Finland blazed into the finals. But with mere turns to go, Canadian Kyle Croxall will take an inside line and steal victory.
Huge goes into the wall. The defending champion is down and out. And Kyle Croxall, the Canadian, out in front all by himself.
The firefighter from Ontario gathered further momentum, crossing the finish line all alone at the treacherous track in Valkenburg, the Netherlands.
Croxall wins the first event, claims the second here in Valkenburg.
Just outside of the Arctic Circle, Ore, Sweden, was host to stop 3 of the tour. A misstep in the quarterfinals placed Croxall's championship quest on thin ice.
Look at this, a huge crash.
100,000 Canadians braved the wintry chill of Old Quebec and were rewarded with a championship-deciding finale. Returning champ Arttu Palainen sprinted to the front early. Kyle Croxall dropped to third, chasing younger brother Scott. In the final turns, Scott would go down, and even as Arttu crossed the line first in Quebec, he suffered the ultimate chill of defeat. Kyle Croxall's second-place finish, enough to secure his first ever championship on the Crashed Ice World Tour.
From beautiful Baldface, British Columbia, Canada, to Crandon, Wisconsin. And when you say Crandon, Wisconsin to off-road racing fans, it means one thing. It's big time in the big house on this massive weekend of racing. This plays a significant role in short course off-road racing. And on track, the Pro 4x4 trucks. We're halfway through this one. Mandatory caution, and to tell us more about this feature, here's Kelly.
Thanks, guys. Something special to short course off-road racing is the mandatory caution. In a former series, owner Jim Baldwin wanted to add more excitement for the fans and more door-to-door racing action on the course, so he created the mandatory caution. He had a lot of resistance from the drivers racing, though, because they thought a track position earned should be something they should keep, not jeopardize by restarting and regrouping at that halfway point. But once the drivers experienced what that mandatory caution was all about, guys like Ricky Johnson think this mandatory caution should be implemented in all forms of motorsports.
And I would have to agree with that. Probably a lot of it because we had a little bit to do with it. We were part of the core telecast with Jim Baldwin, and Jim was always looking to make the racing better for the fans, and I think this mandatory caution has really caught on.
Time to go racing. Johnny Greaves at the green flag, Adrian Cheney, Mark Jenkins, Ricky Johnson and Scott Douglas. Let's go. Second half of the Pro 4x4 at Crandon. Huge jump from Johnny Greaves. Inside, look at Jenkins. Jenkins is looking very racy, trying to get by Adrian Cheney.
And not gonna quite do it. Cheney does a great job holding off, but I'll tell you what, you got your work cut out for you if you're gonna get up there and pass Johnny Greaves.
Ricky Johnson has got around Mark Jenkins. Jenkins comes back though in that Traxxas truck on the inside, trying to get third. So it's Greaves, Cheney, and then Ricky Johnson in the Red Bull Ram. This is great. This is very aggressive from Mark Jenkins, trying to get back on the Red Bull man.
Cheney takes a dive on the inside. All these guys are just evenly matched right now. One slip up is all you're hoping for the guy in front of you so you could make a move.
Is this setting up for what we hope for, Wally? For a Greaves-Johnson race to the very end, leading up to the big one, the Crandon Cup, still to come on this show.
Great shot of Greaves right there, giving a good rooster tail to Cheney. Cheney's right there.
This has been a wonderful race so far from Adrian Cheney. Good start, he got the whole shot. Johnny got by him early though, but he has kept the Toyota man in his sights. You can see that track starting to get that groove, starting to harden up, and that's what the Pro 4x4 trucks do to a racing surface.
And you look at Ricky Johnson, he's running higher than anybody else. He's getting a lot of grip out there, and he's making up a lot of time. In that third spot right there, he's starting to gain on Cheney.
And this is where you'll see the guys go for it. They know they're in the second half. There is no more rest period. There is no more mandatory caution.
No.
Greaves has lost his right front wheel.
Can you believe that? Both guys that led the first half of their races, Pro 2 and Pro 4, have had trouble.
No way.
Oh, he's saying, I cannot believe that.
And that wheel went flying.
Well, that opens up the door for Cheney now, and let me tell you something, Ricky Johnson, he smells blood now.
Adrian Cheney, new race leader as he squares it up.
Backed it in.
Wow. And you'll hear the drivers use that phrase themselves. They back these four-wheel trucks into the corners and able to get it around. I'm still in disbelief as to what happened to Johnny Greaves.
I mean, that is just heartbreaking for those guys that they have just dominated the first part of that race. Well, really, I don't know how any of these trucks even finish a race after watching these things, as brutal as it looks.
As we mentioned before, 5 podiums for the wild man Adrian Cheney this year. No victories. Are we about to witness his first ahead of the Red Bull driver Ricky Johnson? It's all coming up when we come back to Crandon right after this. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. You're watching TORC presented by Traxxas here at Crandon International. You're also watching a fierce fight for the lead and ultimately the win between Ricky Johnson to the left, Adrian Cheney to the right.
Ricky Johnson's been using that high side to his advantage. He gets a lot of bite off these corners and picks up another position. And Cheney is in chase. But I don't know, I'll tell you what, Ricky Johnson has been very, very fast this race, and I don't think anybody's going to catch him.
Think about the big picture for the defending Pro 4 champion, Ricky Johnson. Adversity in the first race this weekend with a blown motor. Team worked all night to get that new motor in his Red Bull Ram. He got a really odd start, whether there was contact with another truck or he caught a rut. It sent his truck viciously to the left. He was able to regather it, but he was sent right to the back of the pack and had to work his way through. Half-race caution helped him, and now he's your new race leader.
And don't forget, you have to keep the wheels and everything on the sake of Johnny Greaves. I didn't think anybody was going to catch Johnny Greaves either. One thing we do want to say is that wheel that did fly off did not hit anybody from the reports we got, so that's good news.
And Kelly helped us out from the pit and paddock area. The crew think that it may have been a broken hub, which is a pretty rare thing to happen at this level of the sport. You don't see it all that often. Hard luck for Johnny Greaves. Meanwhile, we get back to it. Good battle there between Jenkins and Douglas, and already Ricky Johnson has put a margin on Adrian Cheney.
Yeah, he's gone right now. He's out front. That's where he likes to be. These guys are not really catching him, but the battle is heating up for second and third spot right now.
Snapshot of the 2012 Traxxas TORC season, and Ricky Johnson started in dominating fashion. RJ won the first 4 races of this year. So that laid down the picture for everybody else to follow on what the 2012 season was going to look like. Look at that blue groove coming into effect.
Yeah, it's really slippery out there. Scott Douglas is trying to make up a little ground on Cheney. So far, Cheney's been hanging tough.
Cheney, Douglas, Jenkins. Look at Scott Douglas.
He made up a lot of ground that time. Sideways, he made it up.
Some of the guys through their turns have been phenomenal. And there's the checkered flag, Ricky Johnson. Not only does he get the fastest lap of this race, which was just a couple of laps ago, he grabs his 7th win of this season over Adrian Cheney, and Scott Douglas will stand on the podium. Nice work right at the very end. There was no stopping this guy today, though.
Yeah, he was hooked up from the start, and I really, watched his line. He was running places where a lot of other guys weren't, and he made it work for him.
Top 3. Ricky Johnson, and this is how he got into that lead position up at the gravel turn. Watch this maneuver.
It just got up high there, and that thing took off like a rocket down the straightaway, and he easily made the pass on Cheney right there.
And from there was no looking back for the Californian. The Red Bull Ram, truck number 1, was gone. And as we mentioned, 7th win of the season. It's time to hear from our race winner, Ricky Johnson. He's standing by with Kelly Snyder.
Well, thanks, guys. Standing here with Ricky Johnson, the winner of the Pro 4 race right there. Ricky, that is why you are the reigning Pro 4 champ in that class. You definitely earned that one.
Yeah, I had to work really hard. Kurt and I, nothing intentional. I got a bad jump. I missed my timing, so Kurt and John and everyone got a good jump on me. And when Kurt was opening up a little bit, got into me. Like I said, it wasn't intentional. I about spun out going down the front straightaway, but then was able to make some good moves. I really want to thank Charlie Schlieve. He's the eyes in the sky, and it's so dusty, and the roost is so bad back there. But what I'm really stoked about is getting the bomb, because Johnny's fast. He had, the track got better and better. And my BFGs, I want to thank those guys for really really pushing, to run a certain compound, and the compound came in second to the last lap, was my best lap. But I can't say enough. We blew up a motor yesterday, just a burnt piston. Things happen. I really want to thank the crew for staying up all night, getting this thing going, getting another bullet back under the hood. I want to thank Kevin Croyer for that, but all the guys at Roush Yates as well. It's been a team effort, and Menzies Motorsports, Red Bull, KMC, Ram Mopar, BF Goodrich, all that, man. I needed this one.
Well, guys, our 2011 Pro 4 champ and the guy who's leading the points here in 2012.
Thanks, Kelly. Behind Ricky, Adrian Cheney second, Scott Douglas third. That's his 10th podium of the year, including 2 wins. Coming up, it's the Crandon Cup Pro 2s and Pro 4s. You don't want to miss that. There's plenty going on here, including for our own Sal Masakela. He has a first-hand look at the Pro Buggy class.
You're totally safe in this thing. It's funny though, when you watch these buggies from the stands, you always think they're going so slow. Right. Then when you get in it, right, it's totally different. Right. And there'll be like 10 of them around, Yeah. And they're moving. Well, those things, it's all about momentum. You kill your momentum or dive inside, it just kills all the speed and you just lose a ton of positions. You're just going slow. Yeah. All right. So it's like a go-kart. Okay. Racing a go-kart, it's all about keeping your momentum up, going from there.
Racing a sliding
go-kart.
I can't believe that they're going to let me take this car.
How's it going? Good. How you guys doing? Doing pretty good. Nice.
You ready to try and run it?
Yeah, I don't really have a choice. I got to get out there and give it a shot.
Well, let's see if it fits. Coming over your head.
Yeah, it looks like it fits.
First thing we had to ask him if he knew how to drive a stick. And sure enough, V8, California car with a manual, so he's on it.
Basic 4-speed.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. If you would ever need to, you push this down, pull towards you, and straight back.
And that's reverse. How about my new team? Just like that, boom, I got a team. I was a man on the solo mission, now I got a team.
You'll figure this out in a matter of minutes and be a contender. Anybody that skateboards, growing up, they got line selection figured out. I think he'll show some skills.
Team, this is what we train for.
You bet.
The finish is the win.
Have at it.
I will not let us down. Everybody, welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. As you can see, thousands of fans here in the grandstands, all excited to take in TORC Racing. You think they got something to talk about? They do, and you can strike up a conversation with them. Follow the Red Bull Signature Series on Facebook and Twitter, or go to redbullsignatureseries.com on your mobile device. Now here's a conversation starter. We're pretty much all set for the start of the Crandon Cup. Now that's the Pro 2s versus the Pro 4s, $40,000 on the line. Let the carnage begin.
Sal, absolutely. This is it. The Crandon Cup, and there is $40,000 on the line, $15,000 more than last year. It's a huge jump up in prize money. Pro 2 versus Pro 4. This is spectacular.
Yeah, the Pro 2s they'll run first. They get a 12.5 second lead before they drop the hammer and let the Pro 4s go. And it's going to be pretty interesting. I think with all these trucks on the course, Lee, the track is going to get really, really slick, and that's where the Pro 4s will shine, but it'll be later in the race.
Legends of off-road racing have won this. Jack Flannery, Kurt Leduc, Rob McCachran, Johnny Greaves. They're all looking to be #1 in this one. You know someone who's never won this race? Is Ricky Johnson. Can he do it? There's the man there in the Red Bull Ram. Can it be his day? What about Johnny Greaves in front of his home crowd? Or the wild man, Adrian Cheney, fresh from a great race in Pro 4, but the Pro 2s go first. This is the Crandon Cup. They've They've got their own race as well as keeping a watchful eye on when the Pro 4s arrive. Center of your screen, that fluorescent yellow truck. Robby Gordon, great start, but it's Bryce Menzies with the whole shot.
Bryce Menzies is taking up where he left off, and that's out front. Robby Gordon all over, and here we go. Pro 4s, he just dropped the green, and here they come.
The Jenkins boys right alongside each other. We ride with Ricky Johnson, fresh from his victory in the Pro 4x4 race, right alongside Johnny Greaves. Who gets the whole shot here? It's the Toyota man.
Johnny Greaves up front. Ricky Johnson right behind him in the Red Bull machine.
Johnny wants to make amends for that hiccup, that mechanical failure.
Oh, and he slides up high. He slides up high in the wall, Lee, and I think he's got damage to that truck.
No! Two races in a row.
Yeah, this is a weekend I think Johnny Greaves is going to just want to forget.
What happened to Johnny Greaves? Did he simply get too wide?
It's really, really soft, up way out of the groove, and I bet you he got up there, and that thing took off and hit the wall, because he looked like he bounced off that wall pretty hard.
We pick up where we left off in the Pro 4x4 race. It's Ricky Johnson over Adrian Cheney. Here's a replay of Greaves, see if this tells us any more.
Take a look, he's just got a slide here going. He's in the groove so far, but look, he just slides out, and yes, he hits the wall, and there's a pole there with the right rear. I'm sure he hit it hard enough to break something.
And that showed you how much wider he was than where the Red Bull Ram was of Ricky Johnson. Day done, it seems, for Johnny Greaves. Back to the Pro 2s, Bryce Menzies. This is the view from his truck. Robby Gordon goes for the inside line.
Hello, Robby Gordon.
Whoa. So Robby had that photo finish in his race with Rob McCachran. He finished second. He wants to go one better here and win the Crandon Cup. Win that $40,000.
Taking a look on the inside. You know what? Bryce Menzies has just been flawless so far today. Robby takes a look on the inside, just can't do it. I mean, that truck, that Red Bull truck is hooked up. And Robby, you can tell he is driving the wheels off that thing to try to get out front.
This is wild. There is no halfway caution in this one. This is just flat out racing from the start. Gordon in truck number 7. That Speed Energy machine looked like he'd grabbed the lead from Bryce Menzies, but Bryce has been relentless. He does not want to hand over that lead.
If nothing else, Robby will just try to worry you to death.
And that's the thing that we saw in the previous races. Robby is not worried about that he is a visitor in a points championship. He's going for the win for himself and his team. Meanwhile, Adrian Cheney's not letting Ricky Johnson away.
Kidding, look at that. Cheney just stuck to the rear bumper of Ricky Johnson's Red Bull machine, and can he pull it off?
So in each class, in Pro 2, Pro 4, you've got Red Bull Rams and you've got Menzies Motorsports teammates leading their respective classes. However, the classes don't matter in this one. It's winner take all. $40,000 on the line for the Crandon Cup. And last year, Chad Horde in a Pro 2 won overall. Could Bryce Menzies create an upset and a surprise and do the same again? Stay with us here at Crandon. We'll tell you the answer when we come back. You're watching the Crandon Cup, part of the Red Bull Signature Series. Back in a moment. Back at Crandon International Raceway, Lee Diffie and Wally Dallin back with you. You're watching the Crandon Cup, and this is the Pro 2s versus the Pro 4s. Robby Gordon inside, look at him throw that
slide.
Whoa!
That was a nice slide, but he just didn't have the grip to pull it off.
Trying the big move at over 100 miles an hour on Bryce Menzies, and Bryce was able to switch back and maintain his lead. That is fantastic. And for Menzies to handle that pressure from someone like Robby Gordon, that is full on.
Yeah, he's just driving his own race, and obviously he's got the truck is working for him right the way he wants. He's making Robby try to pass him the hard way, and Robby's doing everything he can, but he's just not making it work.
There's about a 5-second gap between our overall leader and our first Pro 4. It's this man here, Ricky Johnson, back to the front. So there's Bryce Menzies, there's Robby Gordon. We should make mention too, good drives from Chad Horde and CJ Greaves, guys having terrific runs in their respective classes. But it's for overall honours in this one, the Crandon Cup. And you're looking at our race leader right now, Bryce Menzies, the 25-year-old from Nevada.
These two guys are running very, very close. I mean, like I said, they're just almost identical lap times.
We talk about that blue groove, Wally, the track hardening up, almost looking like asphalt in some parts. That's going to favor the Pro 4s, yeah?
Absolutely. As you watch the certain parts of this racetrack, you'll see where it gets slick and shiny. That's where the Pro 4s, because they have four-wheel drive, they're going to be quicker in the corners and they're going to be faster getting off the corners. The Pro 2s with the two-wheel drives are a little bit faster in the straightaway, but as this track gets slicker and slicker, that's when the Pro 4s really start to shine.
That Traxxas launch zone is one of the signature points. CJ Greaves out in the deep stuff and able to keep it back online. He's fighting there hard. That's beautiful stuff with the Traxxas truck. Jeff KINCAID.
If they look in their mirrors right now, they're going to see a Pro 4 right there. Ricky Johnson's making up a lot of ground right now.
Can't wait to see that 17-year-old CJ Greaves next year in his second full season of Pro 2. This was an exploratory year, if you wish, but he's been a race winner already in Pro 2. There's our Pro 4 leader, Ricky Johnson, coming through the dust, chasing down the front-running Pro 2s.
Now, all he's got to do right here is just got to be really, really careful. You don't want to lose any time passing these guys. You know you're faster than them at this point. You just don't want to make any mistakes. One little mistake could make the difference at the end of this race of trying to win it. So Ricky knows he's got a good truck. He's just got to pick his spots.
Sun setting, track changing, and you've got 900 horsepower at your disposal. And you've got to make moves like this. Ricky Johnson on the inside of CJ Greaves.
Oh, and CJ gets a little bit sideways, gets into KINCAID. They lost a little time right there, but nobody spun out.
And this is showing you just what those four-wheel drive trucks can do at the end of the day on a track like this. No doubt. Have a look at the replay. Look to the inside. Watch the Red Bull Ram.
Yeah, he just takes it, slides in. That's a beautiful move right there. Just clears CJ. I think it caught CJ surprise a little bit. He turned the wheel to the right, and KINCAID was there. So they made a little bit of contact, but they both continued.
The thing I love, Wally, is they just stay in the throttle. They just stand on the gas and turn the wheel. That's what makes the Traxxas TORC series, part of the Red Bull Signature Series, so spectacular. There's Andrew Cadell in the 47 in that Mopar Ram. He makes a move, an inside move on Jeff KINCAID.
You can also see how much dustier this racetrack is than it was earlier in the day.
Oh, Mark Jenkins got fully crossed up there. Was he able to keep it going, though? Cadell has now cleared KINCAID. He's on a bit of a front-running mission himself. Meanwhile, we join Ricky Johnson. Now he's got Chad Horde.
Yeah, and if you saw Ricky, he took his glove and he moved it along his visor. He's out of tear-offs, so now he's just using his hand to try to keep it clean, but he's in a good spot. He doesn't have a whole lot of dust in front of him, and around goes, that's Chad Horde. He just took that position.
So check another one off the list. And that list is diminishing for Ricky Johnson. When we return, more of this Crandon Cup, and if you like this head-to-head battle, it's amazing. Take a look at an event where the top big wave surfers in the world compete not only against each other, but an attempt to paddle into the biggest and fiercest waves on the planet.
Your natural instinct is panic as this gigantic wave is coming at you. The Jaws event was just an idea I had in my head for a few years, and then with what's happening in the paddling movement within big waves, and with Jaws being one of the most progressive big wave spots in the world, it just seemed like a pretty good fit. With paddling, you have to sit there and watch the whole horizon go black with a wall of water.
It is carnage and chaos at Jaws.
I broke my back over here at this spot. One wipe out.
Oh my goodness.
just got to go. There's no way around it. You just got to show people that you're not scared and you love that feeling.
This contest could set a whole nother bar in progression in big waves.
You're watching TORC, presented by Trax as part of the Red Bull Signature Series and the closing laps of the Crandon Cup. $40,000 on the line here in Wisconsin. And look how close it is now. Bryce Menzies not only has Robby Gordon to deal with, Ricky Johnson is fast appearing in his rearview mirror.
I think that's the guy he's really got to worry about right now. The way these conditions are with the trucks, you can see the Pro 2's really sliding. They're having a hard time getting grip. These Pro 4 guys are coming, and they're coming hard.
And you were talking about the orange truck there of Adrian Cheney. He's trying to deal with the 9, the Nissan of Chad Horde. Pro 2 versus Pro 4. Chad Horde, we can't be remiss to forget that he won overall this event last year. Cheney on the inside. Big diving move.
And you can see the difference. That's the 4-wheel drives. He just backed that thing in. He dropped the throttle, those 4 tires bit, and it's a lot easier to pass a truck when they only have half what you have.
4 laps remaining. That's it to determine who wins the $40,000. With that in mind, let's check in with Sal, who's on the other side of the track here at Crandon.
If you think you got what it takes to get out there on the big track, I got some news for you. You might want to start with something a little smaller, like the RC racing that takes place here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. But don't let these remote control vehicles fool you, or even more importantly, their drivers. They mean serious business, and the competition is actually more fierce here than it is out on the big track. I'm gonna give it a shot. All I need is my helmet.
At Crandon, everyone can get in on the racing action. The track is smaller, competitors are younger, but the battle, just the same. It's a smaller replica of the actual racetrack, and on the straightaways, these Traxxas RC trucks can reach speeds of up to 40 miles an hour. Even the pros get in on the action, racing little versions of their full-size trucks.
The difference from driving on the main track is I could actually drive my race truck. And I come over here and get this remote control and try to drive it, and I'm absolutely horrible. I know nothing about this. So kind of what I do is just try to take everybody out and have a good time. People get mad at me, but it happens, so just have some fun with it.
For kids and pros alike, doesn't matter what you're racing, the desire is to win.
Thanks, Sal, and if you've ever been to a TORC Series event, seeing the RC trucks is fantastic. But this is RJ chasing RG, Ricky Johnson, Robby Gordon. This is the fight for second.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much of a fight. Robby Gordon's a sitting duck right here. You see Ricky Johnson down on the inside. He's going to make this pass. Now he's only got one guy in front of him, and that's his Red Bull teammate, Bryce Menzies.
So that was Pro 4 on Pro 2, Johnson on Gordon, and now we've got 2 trucks prepared out of the same shop. Menzies Motorsports out of Las Vegas, Nevada, run these 2 trucks. Bryce Menzies in the Pro 2 leads over the Pro 4x4. There is not much different between these 2 trucks, only one is 2-wheel drive, one is 4-wheel drive. A little weight difference, but essentially the same power.
Yeah, and you could see Ricky just slowly making gains on Bryce. And really, he knows he's got a couple laps, so he knows he's got to catch him. He's just, again, we're back to don't make any mistakes. And, oh, by the way, this is my teammate. I've got to make sure that I give him plenty of room. I want to make this the cleanest pass of the day.
Think about this, Pro 4x4, they get and they grab the headlines because it's the big class. Menzies wants to win this for Pro 2, not only for himself, but to prove that he can do it in a Pro 2 up against someone like Ricky Johnson. Both these guys are champions from the previous season, both from the same racing team, both in Red Bull Rams. It now comes down to the driver.
And both have a great weekend here at Crandon. See Ricky Johnson down on the inside, and this, it's over right here. I mean, basically, you look at the grip that Ricky Johnson gets. Doesn't pull off the pass just yet, but he's just sitting watching.
How tense is this for Bryce Menzies? Inside, is Ricky Johnson. Outside is Menzies. Now the drag race. Who gets the power down? The four-wheel truck of Johnson does.
And Bryce is going, He was working that truck extremely hard, but like I said, as bad as the track is now, as far as being slippery, Bryce did all he could.
For everything that Ricky Johnson has accomplished in his racing career, this is one that has eluded him. Johnson has never won the Crandon Cup, and there's $40,000 on the line. He leads, but this is not over yet. He's opened up a 2-second gap on Bryce already.
And you could just see how Bryce, he's driving in there hard, he's just not getting the grip.
Final 2 laps here at Crandon International. Is there anything Bryce Menzies can do, or is Ricky Johnson going to run away with this one? Find out when we come back. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series, and you're also watching the closing laps of this classic off-road short course event at Crandon International. Ricky Johnson leading his Menzies Motorsports teammate in the Red Bull Ram, Bryce Menzies. And Wally, at this stage, is there anything young Bryce can do?
Not really, just watch RJ drive off into the sunset. But I'll tell you what, the Pro 2s, they did their job. They held up well. I think the next 2 or 3 spots, the Pro 2s did a great job hanging tough, but there was nothing for Ricky Johnson. He's just been fast all day long.
And for the occasional visitor to the Traxxas Talk Series, the 3rd truck in view, Robby Gordon. Well done to Robby. What a weekend it's been for he and his team. But this is a very special weekend for Ricky Johnson. We're not that far away from seeing the checkered flag. And for this Red Bull Ram, this Pro 4x4, for the weekend starting with an engine drama, this is going to be a nice way to finish it.
Don't forget about the 40 grand. I know you know. There is 40 grand on the line here.
And a massive step up from 25,000 to that 40 this year. A 15 grand bump in the space of a year gets the attention. This is the biggest prize money purse in off-road racing. The white flag is out. 1.5 miles to go for Ricky Johnson before he puts that $40,000 in his pocket.
Yeah, now it's all about just making this one lap. Don't make any mistakes. I don't even want to see or pass anybody on this lap. I'll guarantee you Ricky is stoked right now. I know this race is going to mean a lot having this victory.
And it's a team sport for all the guys who work so hard to get this truck ready. For the guys from Roush Yates, we associate Roush Yates so often with NASCAR and sports car racing, but the Roush Yates group works so hard on these engines to make these Red Bull Rams go so quick. And it's been a very interesting weekend for the former motocross and supercross star, having to come from the back after an awkward start in his 2nd Pro 4x4 race, finishing 13th with those engine dramas. But the weekend in half a lap time is going to finish in the right way.
Yeah, it makes all that work worth it when those guys are up all night making these changes, and then Ricky Johnson goes out, drives the wheels off it, and brings them a victory. It definitely is sweet.
If Ricky holds on for this final turn, which he should do, he will be the 8th different winner in as many years in the Crandon Cup. Johnson does it in Wisconsin. A new Crandon Cup winner for Menzies Motorsports. Fantastic for Ricky Johnson. Bryce Menzies comes in 2nd, and Robby Gordon will stand on the podium in the Crandon Cup. And this is how you celebrate RJ style. And knowing Ricky like we do, he is pumped. And we will hear from him when we come back. And he's going to celebrate winning a world championship as well. If you like off-road truck racing, make sure to watch Robby Gordon's Stadium Super Truck Series in 2013. These custom-built trucks in this one-of-a-kind 12-round series go racing this spring on NBC and the NBC Sports Network. Well, the dust has settled here at Crandon International Raceway after Ricky Johnson's awesome celebration donuts. He's standing by with Kelly.
Well, thanks, guys. Ricky, obviously one of the most impressive races I've ever seen you run, so skillfully passing driver after driver, and then there were two, you and your teammate. What a great feeling that must have been for you.
Oh, it was awesome. And the bad part is, as I'm going to set Bryce up, I'm going, damn it, I told him all of my lines. So he knew right where I was going to go coming in. But, you know, it's at that point, and the track was slick. This was probably the best condition the track was in all weekend long. So I really want to congratulate Buford and the whole Crandon crew. But Pro 4 is the way to go, man. At the end, when it starts getting slick, the cushion was so far gone, but Bryce did a hell of a job, got out front, and had a big lead. I want to congratulate also Robby Gordon, man. Guy never races, comes here, puts in one race, and here he is, third place in the Cup. But it really does mean a lot to me. Yes, I won the AWOL Cup, woo!
Well, guys, not only is he taking home the Cup, he'll also be walking away with an extra $40,000. So I'm sure that's something that you're looking forward to as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we're going to break that up. Bryce got second, so we're going to take care of our team. Those guys stayed up all night, put a new motor in her. And I got to I really want to thank Red Bull, Ram, Mopar, KMC, BF Goodrich. The tire groove that we found today worked awesome. The compound, awesome. And I could just drive it as hard as I want all day long, and the tires stayed underneath me. So I really want to thank them people. And also, I'm running this thing, tipping it at 86 all day long. AMSOIL is the lifeblood of it, and it just keeps me going and going and going and going, man. Thank you.
What a way to end the season for Ricky Johnson here in the Crandon Cup, taking home the $40,000 and the brand new AMSOIL Cup with his name. It's going to be right there on it.
Ricky Johnson also wins the Red Bull signature moment. After catching up to his teammate and Pro 2 leader Bryce Menzies, Ricky took the inside line to move into first, ending the Pro 2 winner streak at the Crandon Cup.
Great weekend for the Red Bull team. These guys both came away winners. And you know, when you come to Crandon, it's a special place. It's a special place for the drivers and the crews. And hey, we have a blast calling this race as well.
And we say
congratulations
to Ricky Johnson. First time winning the Crandon Cup for Ricky, and it's he, Bryce Menzies and Robby Gordon, the top three. For Wally Dallenbach, I'm Lee Diffie. Here's Sal to say farewell.
That is a wrap on a great day of racing here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway in beautiful Crandon, Wisconsin. What a great day. Congratulations to Bryce Menzies for taking the Pro 2 class and Ricky Johnson for taking the Pro 4 and the Crandon Cup victories. That's our last show for 2012. I know you enjoyed the entire Red Bull Signature Series, but not to worry, we'll be back. The series continues in 2013, and we will bring you even more exciting events just like this one, as well as some of your favorites from this past year. Just a few weeks, we'll kick things off with Crash Dice from Niagara Falls, airing right here on NBC January 26th. Coming up next on NBC, it's the Tyco Golf Skills Challenge. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us today. On behalf of the entire NBC Sports crew, I'm Sal Masakela, and I'll see you in 2013.